Hey, good morning everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss Pre-Market Report for September 28th, 2016. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Here's a look at the daily time frame of the ES right now. The price is basically pushing a little bit higher here off the overnight lows, testing the previous week's close price right here, which is also right at the 2158 half. That is the July 27th FOMC number. And for the most part, price is trading between both FOMC key levels. So you had 21.35 quarter up to 21.58 half, and that's been the range here over the last 3 days. This is very difficult territory for the ES. Not a whole lot to do. I really can't say for certain that there's a trade here or there because we're right at the center of a larger trading range. I mean, we're right at the middle point here where it's just, not a lot of edge at the moment. And we know that this thing is coiling up. We know this thing is building energy. You can see higher lows, lower highs, and this thing continues to coil. At some point, we will see some major expansion. Today could be a good day for it. We have OPEC on the calendar. We also have crude oil. We have a lot of different Fed speakers. Janet Yellen speaking. There can be so many different things that the market's waiting on, and then we could see some movement here. But right now, the key level to watch, 21.58 half. Big time key level. Previous week's close is also important here. Above that level squeezes to 21.72. Failure to get above 58s opens up a return back to the previous week's low, which is 21.26. All right, let's take a look at the intraday time frame here. For the most part right now, let me bring up I'll do something a little different here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up our drawings here. It's going to show us our recent key range. So we have our impulse move here where we had a low 21.33 quarter. We rally up to a high 21.54. Then we drop back to the midpoint at 21.43. You can see how we played off of those levels throughout the session yesterday. And then right here is where price tried to hold outside of that range and failed back below 21.54. And failing, that led to a sell-off back down, and now we're back at it. So this is a very important level right here, 21.54. You can see the LVN. You can see prior resistance here, here, perfectly on the level. Bulls tried to hold outside the range and failed, and now they're retesting here. So if there's any failure to get back above 54s, short term, there could be a quick move back to value at 21.42. Above 21.58 again has 72s. All right, let's take a look here at crude oil. Here's crude. We'll bring up a daily time frame here with the PivotBoss pivots on a weekly look back. Right now you can see, for the most part, crude oil basically just coiling up significantly here. Again, very similar to what we've been talking about. We're right here at the apex. Remember, when we got over here and we bounced, I said this is the point here where we could start to go and trade the apex. And since then, it's been 1, 2, 3, working on 4 weeks right now where we've really gone sideways at the apex of the range. I don't see that stopping anytime soon. But again, we have OPEC today meeting. We also have crude oil inventories. We have Fed speakers, etc. So there could be some expansion from here. And whenever we do see a decided breakout, again, remember, have to break below 43s. We have to get back above 48s. Once we do that, we could see a major move of 10 to 13 handles in the direction of the break, but right now could be further whipsaw behavior. We have a 4-day, 5-day little range here. Failure to hold 44s, retest those 43s. All right, let's take a look at the intraday time frame. Here's the intraday. So far, price rallied off of VWAP. Rallied up precisely to the R3 PivotBoss band, third standard deviation of VWAP, and then right back down to within a couple of ticks of VWAP, and it's holding right now. So again, this is an important area. 45 has been very important here. If we go to kind of a regular chart, you can kind of see 45s and how it's just been a major pivot in the charts throughout the day. I know a lot of our traders have been using that level both as an entry point to reject and also as a target to play back toward. So that's been a very important pivot right now. Price is trying to hold above it. Any failure, again, rotates this thing back down a little bit. So keep an eye on 45. That's a major pivot, at least early in the day. Here's gold. We'll look at, again, daily time frame here with gold. Gold, again, has shown that price remains within the larger trading range that we've been watching. You can see this large range down here, 1310, 1306. We've had resistance in the 1370 zone, but it's been quietly forming at lower and lower prices here. So a lower trend line here coming across the highs, and then you have a horizontal line coming across support. We have just seen the breakout occur, and something we were talking about in the previous session was the stops were coming out below 3-day lows, and if so, look for the midpoint of the day to be right around where that was. So we were forecasting a little bit lower, and it got there. Now that we've gotten that break here, you want to see bears continue to keep that area offered. That's 1335s. So if we look at the midpoint of the previous session, it's 1335.6. 1335 to 1335.6, that's about the zone there that if price comes into it, bears want to defend it. First shot at seeing a continuation toward the lower part of this trading range, somewhere between 1305 and 1310. So right now, the key level to watch is going to be 1335.60, 1335, that zone. So if price rallies into it, watch for bears to defend. Short term, you could play the move into the level, which right now would be somewhere between 5 and 7 points, so not bad. We'll look at that on the intraday here. Here's the intraday level. So right here, this is where we're at. The previous area of support, again, here's 1335 right here, right? You can see support finally gave way, and we continue downward. If we come back into this zone, it's going to be a great area for swing sells to come on board, swing bears. So right now, the early key level here is the previous session's close price. Previous session's close right here is 1330.7. A squeeze above that level opens the door to 1335. So you could be looking at a 5-handle squeeze above, especially if bulls can keep this area bid off of 1327. So not bad right now how this thing's developing. I think overall this thing is trending downward. So any bounce should be a selling opportunity primarily. Any rally right now is a counter trend move in a downtrending market, at least short term. Okay, let's take a look at the NQ now. Here's the NQ. This is a daily time frame, again with the weekly pivots here. One thing to look at, let me remove these levels there. Here we are. So now what we see here is that price pushed above 48.20. That's been a very important level. You can see resistance above it here. We're selling off. It went and bid through it here, and when it came back down, it defended 46.04 to 48.20, and now we're back up a little bit. This one right here, again, nothing a whole lot to really like at the moment. I don't see a surefire swing trade here. I do know that right now the FOMC level at the 48.04s is very, very important. 4800, 48.04 have been very important. So any rotation into that area has been bid. Failure to hold it would open up a retrade back toward 47.58 and perhaps even lower into 47.30. So right now that's the key level to watch. You also have the previous week's close that's getting a lot of play so far early this week. If there's a failure to hold up there, we could see a move downward. Acceptance above the previous close opens up a test at the opposite extreme at 48.92. So we have a couple of levels here, but it's really nothing, again, no edge that I see at the moment. Got to continue to watch for something much more defined. What we see right here is price rallying again off that FOMC level, 48.04. This is the lower time frame. And since then, something we were talking about in the room yesterday, in the trading room, was that we had the ascending pattern here with horizontal resistance. This looked like a squeeze potential, right? It wasn't beautiful yesterday, but you can see that it did eventually squeeze. It continues to hold above that 48.50. So right now, 48.50 is very important. A little bit of an expanding range happening here, so we could continue to develop above this zone. If at any time price fails to hold above 48.50, the next level down is going to be 4800 to test. All right, that's it for now. Let's see how this thing plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck and trade well.